And we are live. Welcome to the Political Orphans. My name is Nico, and I am your in-house conservative. To my left, Rob Ambrose, our token lefty. And together, we go through what's trending in the news. Our goal is simple. We want to show you that it's possible for a lefty and a righty to get along. And even if we don't agree, we're capable of having a conversation like normal human beings. Because remember, common sense has no political affiliations. What's going on, bro?
What's happening, brother? I'm at the girlfriend's place for the weekend, so I got a stuff here, and it's sort of a new environment. So bear with me here while we figure it out. But other than that, looks like we've got a great show here.
Well,
it's
man,
funny how it's feast or famine, right? Sometimes there's nothing, and then the next day it'll just be 10 or 15 stories, and it's hard to know what to cover.
Well, today's going to be funny because we've been talking about the tariffs for a while.
Yep.
Now that the tariffs are finally arrived, there's no tariffs for Canada or Mexico.
Sort of a big nothing burger, right?
And what I'm wondering, like, that's what I kept on thinking all morning is like, so now that the carbon tax has been axed. And for the people listening to this, I'm air quoting, and I'm doing it with my whole arm here, has been axed, and that there's no new tariffs. What is going to be the election about? Because that's all Polyev and Carney are speaking about is tax, tariff. What the fuck are they going to talk about? Are they going to have to actually do some real work and talk about their platforms? How crazy would that be?
That's actually a good point. Because you're right, it's all tariffs. It's been all tariffs all the time, and you wonder, like, what are they going to talk about? And this is where I think it's really going to become clear how boxed in Polyev has been by Carney. Because again, what else are you going to talk about? Literally, Carney's pretty much on top of you in terms of your platform. He went so far to the left because he thought he was going to go against Trudeau. And then he just didn't leave any space. All Carney had to do was come in and just take a few steps to the right, and boom, there's no daylight whatsoever. So I mean,
and by a few step, it's literally 1/2 step. Like
he
didn't run anywhere. He basically just this is what he does. He just rolled his chair like I'm doing right now. That's
just shuffle over. Yeah, no, that's right. But yeah, it'll be interesting because what do you talk about? I mean, I guess there's immigration, but Polyev, he still wants fairly high levels, so I don't really see a huge difference between him and Carney. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
I don't know. I really don't know. Hey, Shelly, what's going on? What's going on? That is Shelly, right? Cheryl. Shit.
Yes.
Just put your name. I can barely remember my wife's name.
Polyev has been. Sorry, you get that one.
No, go for it, man.
Cheryl here says Polyev has been talking about developing the North/Arctic as well. I've heard that, and I like that. I like to hear that. I think that's something that's needed. What's it called? The Ring of Fire or something? That mountain range has got a shit ton of minerals. I just, it's like you said, drill, baby, drill. Like, not even like I want to see drill, baby, drill, dig, baby, dig. I want to see all that stuff. I want to see us developing our natural resources because it's just sitting in the ground. It's not helping anybody. And we need the help right now.
As much as we wonder what Polyev and Carney are going to talk about, I think it might be a good idea. It might be a good thing for Polyev that there's no tariffs. Because that's all Carney can talk about, and even right now, as you'll see, I have a video from him, his latest video about this. He's still talking about this, the tariffs. He has nothing now that he, again, air quote, axed the tax. He has nothing else to talk about. If the tariffs don't happen, that means he's gonna have to come clean as to, does climate change even exist anymore? Because if we don't have a carbon tax to prove it, obviously it's not real, right? Like he's gonna get destroyed if
the Carney.
Oh yeah, 100%. Because what else is he gonna talk about? That's all he's been talking about. But if you look at Polyev, I'll give him credit. He has more ideas. Like, unlike Carney, he does want to drill. He does
Yep.
want to make Alberta profitable again. So he wants to build the pipelines east and west and go north. So I think that the non-tariff might work for
It might
Polyev
help him.
now
It
that
might
the
help him.
tax is gone, because he's going to get to talk about what he wants to do, which there's a difference. The biggest thing was that when it comes to the tariffs, they were both aligned, as in let's go to war with the US. But now that that's not a thing at the moment, now that Trump has done nothing for us, like he didn't put anything in place, Carney's going to look bad. He's going to have to actually have a platform, and Polyev might be able to go back to his, where he didn't necessarily align with the liberals.
Yeah, that's not a bad point. It might actually help Polyev. I see Cheryl here is talking about. She says he's been getting Polyev has been getting big turnouts at his rallies, and he's talking with Canadians. So I live in Fredericton, and he was just here the other day, and then he went to Prince Edward Island, and he was legitimately getting really, really big turnouts. And these are not traditionally conservative bastions. So I think there's questions about the polling, and it seems, I think even in the numbers, I think Carney's still projected to be ahead, but it's narrowing a bit.
It's starting to look, because I'm going to talk about this at the end of the show. I got some updates, obviously, like every day. We'll give you some updates on the Canadian election, but it seems that, I'm going to use the example with Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. When they were in election, Kamala Harris was having events where she had to pay massive stars to show up, and she wasn't even able to field audience. Like her audience was never full, even though she was giving millions to people to show up to massive actors. And Trump was just organizing events left, right, and center that were jam-packed. So it seems like the same thing is happening. I'm not saying that Carney's paying, but it seems like Carney, if you look at his events, there's a few hundred people. Like it seems that Polyev, wherever he goes, it's fucking jam-packed. So the polls don't seem to be representing the reality, just like Trump and Kamala Harris. Like the polls were showing us that they were equal, that Kamala Harris could win. And then you look at the election, it's a fucking landslide.
Wasn't close.
Like it wasn't
close.
No.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to wonder, and I think that the future is going to be good for Polyev now that there's no tariffs, because we're talking just 28, not even 28 days. We're 25 days away from our election. So if Trump doesn't put any tariffs, Mark Carney has nothing to talk about, because the only thing he could do was axe the carbon tax, and he, again, air quote, did it.
Well, and he was going to declare, a state of emergency and all that, and he
can't do it anymore.
And now he can't do that. It really kind of takes the wind out of his sails. And it's interesting, because that is a fact with the polling for sure. Donald Trump, both in 2016 and 2020, as well as 2024, he outperformed polls every single time. And I think most people thought that was a Donald Trump phenomenon, but perhaps that's maybe that's just conservatives these days. Maybe everywhere conservatives are just generally going to underperform or overperform their polls. So it'll be interesting to see if that same dynamic plays out here with this one.
I'd say, we talked about this yesterday, where the people that are still voting for, I found the graph. I believe this is the graph you shared. I believe that I have it on my laptop. Let me share it just so that we put it into perspective for people. But I believe this is the graph that you were showing yesterday, right?
Yes, it is. That is correct. So we were talking about the age gap and what generations are voting for who.
So one of the things I'm thinking right now is, if you look from 18 to 29, like everywhere, 18 to 29, 40% conservative, 30 to 39, 35% conservative, 40 to 49, it's 38% conservative, 50 to 59, 43. And it's only in the 60 plus that the liberals are winning. And they're probably the same people that answers polls, Because
Yeah,
most
well,
of the other
I was
people
just
that
gonna
are
say,
59 and below
yeah.
are probably busy fucking working.
Well,
So
and
they're not there to fill out
yeah, and
polls.
there's a weird generational thing where younger people, and not even that young, like I find even like, people our age and younger don't often
Not
answer the
picking up
phone.
the phone for
We don't pick
fuck
up the
you.
phone. But if you're 60 plus, it's just, it's built into the phone rings, you answer it.
Yeah.
And I mean, it sounds silly, but if you're getting the vast majority of people are in that 60 plus group that they're the ones answering the polls, then of course the polls are going to skew the way that demographic skews. So that's definitely something to think about as well. And I think that might be one of the theories for why Trump has outperformed his polling.
Again, it's men. For Trump, it was men that elected him. Men of all colors, black, white, purple,
Yep.
Mexicans, whatever you wanted. They're the ones that voted for him. But you had the impression, because women, liberal women especially, tend to be a lot louder than men.
Yes.
And I think the same thing is happening now. The 60,
Yep.
except for us, it's really an age group. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But let's take some comments, and then you know what? Let me answer what before we take the comments. Let me ask you guys the question of the day. And the question of the day is as follow. Do you think that Mark Carney had a role to play with Trump's decision not to put new tariffs on Canada, or was it just Trump and another negotiation tactic? That's the question I have for you guys. Rob, what do you think?
Was it just Canada that kind of got away with it? Like, what about Mexico?
I have a beautiful video to explain.
Okay,
all
of course you do.
But it's
of course you do.
of course I do. I got a couple actually, but yeah.
Normally, I would assume that the Prime Minister of Canada would have had something to do with it, but the fact that Carney seems to be like, he's almost proud of the fact that he's not talking to Trump, it makes me think maybe not.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think Carney did. The only smart thing Carney did, unlike Pierre Poilievre, is not to insult Trump. That's the only thing I can see. That's the only thing he did. And Mark Carney is not an idiot. Let's be honest here. He's not an idiot. He knows what he's doing.
No,
as in, he knows how to manipulate people. That's what I mean. I don't agree with what he's doing, but he is not an idiot. Let's not underestimate him. But at least he did not insult Trump, which, as we've said so many times, Trump takes things personally. So, Lisa Simpson.
Kashmir, I believe this is the first time you're commenting. Carney, he says Carney can't debate or meme. I mean, that's the left is not great memers.
He is a great meme. He is a great meme, but when developed by guys like me, I love to make fun of him. But yeah, you're right. Welcome, by the way, Kashmir. I don't think we've ever seen you, but thanks for your comment. Welcome.
Yep. Keep it
coming.
Welcome
to the Political Orphans. Yep.
And actually, before we get into this, I'll just say the usual spiel, guys. The show is all about you guys. This is why we do it live. So please keep commenting, keep engaging. And if you want to like and share that, we would definitely appreciate it. Again, good day to all of our loyal viewers. And we got a jam-packed one in here today for you. Cheryl says, Nico, I voted PPC last election, Green before that. Wow, Jesus, Cheryl, it's all over the place. From what I've heard from Max, although that's what, remember when Bernier was here? I don't, Cheryl, were you watching when we had Max on? He was saying a lot of Green Party shifts come over. So that's kind of interesting that you're one of those people. She continues, he is looking to build a party, but doesn't even entertain winning. Unlike Trump, whose aim was to win. Yeah, I mean, I think Max knows, he's a realist. I think he knows he's not going to win. I think, like you said, he's just trying to build a party, which it's a little, it kind of, I think, is a bit demoralizing to voters, because if the leader kind of admits that he can't win, even though we all know he can't, I don't know. But there were people who said Trump definitely could not win, and then he did.
The thing is, though, to elaborate on this, I agree with what you're saying.
Yep.
On the other hand, for all we know, all he's trying to do is just go to the debate stage. It's to be able to show a more conservative view of what's going on in Canada. And, is this really on Max that he has no chance of winning? Or is it really just showing that the conservative and liberals are scared of him being on the stage and are taking that victory away from him? Because I can tell you, man, if that guy was on stage with Polyev and Carney, he would make them look stupid. Like he would push the envelope a bit more to the right, and both of them would he would expose Pierre Polyev as not being a conservative if Max was there.
You could say, you could say that there'd be value in that, especially if you were
100%.
a conservative or right winger. Just the value that he would shift the whole thing to the right without Bernier there. Polyev doesn't have to address some of these issues.
No.
What is the reasoning for that? Like, do they even try to, or they just say no? Like, because I've never been clear about that. It seems ridiculous to me. You know what I mean? If you're the leader of a major party, and it's a small party, but it is a major party, you should be at the debate. Like, what is the harm?
They have the same size of, if you look at the polls, in a lot of those polls, the polls are showing that they might get more votes than the Green, and close to the NDP. The intentions are equal or higher than the NDP and the Green. So technically, they should, although they don't have anybody elected, why are they not debating? And I agree with you. I don't understand that one either. I don't understand how they're capable of preventing him from debating, considering he is a federal party recognized by the federal government. So why can't he debate?
Yeah, like I think we all know the real reason, but I'm just wondering, like, what's the reason they're giving? Like, what's the official reason that we all probably know is the bullshit reason? Because it's pretty hard to justify that. Again, I'm not a conservative, but I don't want. Same with like Marianne Le Pen. I am, again, she's a right wing party, or the AFD is a right wing party. Or sorry, she's what's their party called? I forget it, but anyways, but I still want to hear from. I want to hear from everybody. I don't want the government to tell me who I'm allowed to vote for. Let me hear from everybody, and I think most people feel the same.
I agree, and you see here, I'm on their website right now of the PPC, and obviously, press release: the Leaders Debate Commission is again trying to exclude Maxime Bernier. It's saying here that the Leaders Debate Commission has once again changed its criteria so they can easily exclude the leader of the PPC, as they did in 2021.
Does it say what their criteria is? Is it like based on polling? Is it based on
right here? I think it's right here. So, however, yesterday the commission announced that a key change, dropping that criterion and requiring that party must now meet not one but two of these criteria. Number one, have at least one MP. Number two, have at least 4% on average in the polls at the beginning of the campaign. Or number three, run candidates in at least 90% of the ridings. That is a fuck. I
think he's got 90%, and he's probably got.
I don't think he has 90%.
You don't think he's running that many? I thought he was running a lot.
He might be, but 90% is a lot, bro.
Yeah,
like, considering that it's, he was. I don't know if you remember, but when he was on the show, he said that it took about 20 years for the Green Party to elect their first candidate.
Yeah.
So right now we're basically saying they changed the rules that's hard to meet. That means that it could take him 20 years for him to continue running in order to have that done. And yet I don't understand how, like, at least have one MP. If it took 20 years to the Green Party, the latest one to do it, it's going to be a long road. 4% on average. How can they have 4% on average at the beginning of the campaign when they don't let them debate? They don't let them be part of it.
Is he not polling at 4%?
Yeah, but I would argue that they probably don't even ask. Like, the left-leaning media is not asking.
No, they probably don't even ask
about the PPC. So it seems that it's a bullshit. It's a bullshit call to prevent him from being on stage because it would make them look stupid.
I mean, in my opinion, regardless of 4%, whatever, like they're a small, very small, but major political party. Their leader should be at the debate. That's my take. Kashmir, I don't think
you want to go back up. You want to go back up. You missed a bunch of them.
Oh.
Start at Jason, because hey, Jason, what's going on, bro?
Here, do you want to grab that? Just because I got to reach ahead and get some of
Yeah,
these.
that's
So
okay. Yeah, I'll grab them.
yeah,
Jason saying on my way, gents, have a great show. Thank you, bro. You said it's not. Why do I call her
Cheryl. Yeah, we
Shelly?
got that, Cheryl. So we got that one. He's been getting the
But
big
I'm sorry
crowd.
if I call you Shelly. I have no idea. I don't know anybody called Shelly. Tony's saying Trump just playing his games. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's starting to look
Uh,
like that for sure.
yep, I agree. That's what I thought the whole time. Like,
Yeah.
I knew it. He does what he does. Um, again, I was going
I
to
think
say,
he just likes, making the puppets dance. He likes being the puppet master.
I in real life, I'm a troll. I like
Yeah.
to mess with people. I like to throw shit bombs, shit grenade in rooms and see how people react. Then when they're pissed off, I leave.
Yeah.
But if you don't react to me, I'm like a child. If you don't react to me, I get bored and I stop doing it.
Yeah.
So
Maybe
I'm
that's what
easy.
happened.
Trump's easy to deal with. Just ignore him, and he's just gonna stop. He's gonna turn to something else that will piss people off. That's all he does.
Yep.
Nico, I know, and I've seen many Gen Xers and Boomers who wants a better future for our kids and grandkids. They do not support the liberals, and I hope that you're right because yesterday I blew a gasket on that, and unfortunately, that's not what the polls are saying. Like, unfortunately, a vast majority of the people that are being polled, at least, obviously, that doesn't represent every single one of them. But I can tell you from experience, the people that I speak to, they're still voting for the liberals because they cannot imagine in their head to be voting for a conservative, which they're not conservative, but you know what I'm saying. So I hope that you're right. I absolutely hope that you're right. She also said that I have voted Green for years, thinking they cared about the environment and had a financial plan like conservatives. Yeah, nope. There are a few things that
Green.
happened in the past.
Green
Yeah,
financial plan. Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Those two things don't go together,
no,
unfortunately. Unless taxing
that is it. That's the
taxing
green
in the
plan.
name
Is
of climate change
tax.
is a plan. I guess
Well,
it's a plan. Technically, it's a plan. It doesn't need to be a good one, but it's a plan.
I found it interesting what Max was saying about why so many Green people or Green Party members were coming over is because there's a lot of people that are in the Green Party because their primary concern is the environment, but not necessarily the climate change aspect of it. They're more. I think a lot of people feel like so much focus and attention is being placed on CO2 that there's no attention being placed on degradation of the environment, plastics in the ocean, and there's a lot of people who care about that too. And so I think it's an interesting sort of split that's going on in the environmentalist movement.
Kashmir is saying, I don't think Carney has anything to do with the hold on tariffs.
Yeah, I don't
think
so
Trump
either.
is trolling all the Canadian government. Agreed. Maybe egging on stronger Pierre Milhouse. Oh, that's funny. He does kind of look like Milhouse. That's funny. I don't think Trump likes liptards, and he can buy Carney if he wants. He's trolling until someone strong steps up to him to make a great deal with Canadians. And hi, yes, I'm first time here. What's going on?
Yeah,
And as always, you're joining a very smart group of people, and it seems that you belong. So hopefully we see you again. But I like the Pierre Milhouse Poliev. That is true.
Milhouse Van
He
Houten.
kind of does look. He kind of does look like Milhouse. But at the same time, does that mean he likes you? Because if I remember correctly, Milhouse did like.
Oh shit! Yeah, he did. Oh, he's in love with Lisa.
He did like Lisa Simpson.
It's funny. There's this episode where Bart had to get glasses, and he looks at Milhouse and he sees his reflection. He's like, "Whoa, I'm a nerd." And Milhouse, like, "So am I." Like that's the first time you realize that, Milhouse.
Yeah, he doesn't have mirrors, I guess.
Yeah, Prairie, they changed the rules. Yeah, actually talking about Bernier. Why? Yeah. That's pretty sketchy to change the rules to specifically not allow someone.
Especially that he goes against the grain of every single party. Like, he does not sound like Greens. He does not sound like the NDP. He does not sound like the Liberals. And he does not sound like the Conservatives. Like, he is really set apart from them, which, if he was in between the Liberal and the Green, we have enough fluff there. So I could understand why they're like, hey, guy, come on. Like, we have enough of that lip crap here. But considering that he's completely an outsider, it does not look good that they keep on changing the rules on him to make sure it does look bad, right?
It's like, what are you worried about? What are you so worried? Like, he's not going to win, but it does, it does make you wonder why are you doing this? I think a lot of people just don't like that feeling of being manipulated, right? It don't make, even if you're not going to vote for Bernie, even if you would never vote for him, I think people don't like to feel like it's the media who's deciding who we're allowed to vote for.
And Cheryl is saying that unless you watch alternative news, you're unlikely to know the PPC or Max. And that's why guys like us have a place. That's why, because we've had Max. I would happily get Polyev on the show. I would not make it easy on him. He'd have to explain himself, but that's why guys like us exist, right? So yeah, you're absolutely right. And I don't want to toot our own horn, but I'm just going to mention that a couple of weeks after Maxime Bernier was on our show, he was on Patrick Betts-David's show. And a couple of weeks after Billboard Chris was on our show, he was on Tim Pool's show.
So basically,
for the people, if you want to get to the next level, we are the gatekeepers.
This is the stepping stone.
No, we don't. No, you don't step over me. I open the door. Marketing matters. We're not a stepping stone. We are the gatekeeper.
Yeah, the gatekeepers.
The gate.
Basically, PBD and Tim Cass, they get our sloppy seconds.
That's okay. Yeah. Hopefully you can taste the French.
Yeah, we got him first.
Prayer is saying Max had enough. Then they changed the rules. That was my understanding too.
Max had enough. That's pretty sketchy. That's real sketchy.
I think it's the MP part. I think that's what they changed. That you need to have.
That's right.
Like, how the fuck can you have an elected member of parliament if you're not allowed to? If the leader of your party is not allowed to debate?
That's, speaking of gatekeeping, that's a huge gatekeeping move, and like not in a good way. You're right, because how the fuck are you supposed to do it if you can't debate? It's a chicken and an egg. You can't get elected because you can't debate, but you can't get in the debate because you're not elected.
Cheryl is saying, and Nico, that's exactly what the problem is. We need to change now, not in 25 or 30 years. Agreed. I think Max needs to address this if he hopes to keep his current support and gain more. Nico, it's all good. I don't care if you call me Shelly. Thank you. En français, mon nom est Cheryl. En anglais, c'est Cheryl. So at least you're either French or you think I'm retarded. Either way. No, it's
a bit of both. A little from column A, a
little from column B. Yeah, but I can blame him on my French accent, so it's okay.
That's right. Yeah,
Nico, I voted green while I was still asleep. Yeah, you must have been sleeping hard. But glad to have you. Glad to have you. Kashmir saying woo. And she's also. Like I'm assuming that you're a girl. She's also saying I like alpha males.
Yeah, if you like alpha men, Millhouse ain't gonna cut it for you.
Well, you might not like. You might just like half of this show. Because the right side is alpha, the left side.
I don't know about that, brother.
Pussy. But good to have you, Kashmir. Prairie is saying, well, they're definitely deciding who we can hear and who we won't. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
I don't like that. I don't like that. Even if I'm not going to vote for them, I still want to hear from people.
100%. Cheryl, I think getting Polyev on the show is an excellent idea, Nico. Yeah, but I don't. As much as I would love to do it, I don't think he has the balls to come here because I wouldn't. Unlike Rebel News, I wouldn't be throwing from under the hip at a softball. I'd be throwing strikes, like hard strikes down the middle that he would have to explain himself. And I don't think he has anything to win by coming to a platform like here. Well, as much as I would love. I don't think he has the balls, and I don't think he has anything to. He doesn't have anything to win. He's just going to look. He's just. Well, I don't think he has what it takes. Personally, I don't think he's good enough on long form content to actually pull it off with someone that's not going to be like giving him the questions, just softballing questions. Prove me
That's
wrong,
why.
Pierre.
That's why. That's why he's
Prove me
not.
wrong.
That's why he's not doing it.
Agreed.
But we should. Why not? Let's reach out to him. I'll send him a message.
Yep.
Can't hurt. We'll have anybody on. Come on, like any of the leaders. Get the Green Party on. NDP.
Kashmir saying,
Jag me.
whose ring do I kiss? Who does she kiss?
Well, you can. My girlfriend watches this show, so you can kiss Nico's.
Hold on. Let me see. And maybe having Max back on to clarify what he aims in this election. I'd like to have him back. That's a good point, because I had an agreement from his camp to actually go and have him on live, go one-on-one and sit down with him. So cool. Maybe, you know what, PPC, I'm going to reach out to him right now and see what's going on with this, if the offer is still on the table, because I would definitely like to have him back on. You know what? It's a great idea. I actually like that idea a lot, to have him on. Well, again, even if it's not in person.
If we're doing this thing where we're covering the election, I think we should reach out to all of them. That's there's no obviously we're political orphans. We're nonpartisan. I'd like to talk to anyone who's willing to come on the show. I'll talk to them.
100% d'accord. Well, I'm writing in French right now. Sorry, I'm 100%. Whoops, I was writing in French right now. No, I totally agree with you, man. I think it's a good thing to have him back on. I think I'm going to reach out. Like I said, I'm going to reach out to him right now. Man, Prairie, thank you. You always seem to suggest stuff, and I tend to listen when it makes sense. So yeah, good stuff.
And let me see here. I can go down and get some of these here. I think no. Oh shit, there's a lot. Wow. Cheryl is saying she's both Francophone and her father's English. How do I, Kashmir? How do I follow Nico? I can't see his username. That is.
It's written at the bottom.
Frenchie? Is that it? At the gay Frenchie?
No eye contact is the name. But
exactly.
at real Nico Lagan everywhere on whatever platform I'm on there, but especially follow me on X. That's the platform I'm looking to build. But yeah,
Tony G says
at the real Nico Lagan or the Homo Frenchie.
Either one, same. Tony G says if you need to be an MP, doesn't that disqualify Clown Carney? No, it means your party has to have one seat and the PPC does not. But that's funny. That's a good point. Like, they're disqualifying Bernier because his party doesn't have a seat. Fucking Carney doesn't even have a seat. Like Bernier's had. I don't think he has one right now. Does he? He's not a sitting member.
He's not elected. MP. No, because that means he could do he'd be able to do the debates, but he doesn't have one single person that's elected right now.
Oh, that's right. Mr. Memorino says, bring it home and axe the tax. Yeah, I guess it's funny how, they're going on. That's the narrative. Nobody's questioning it. Axe the tax. That isn't what happened. He slid the tax.
I found a video for you, by the way. I found a video that confirms, because you said that yesterday. Yeah. And I didn't know, I didn't realize that was the case. But I found a video from an expert that actually confirms what you're doing. So I was planning to surprise you with a two-thing video to make you feel good on the inside.
Wow. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Thanks, brother.
I'm gonna pet the lack of hair. I'll pet your brain.
Pet the head.
Yeah, I'm a pet the head.
Just rubbing each other's heads. Kashmir.
Oh, okay, I get it. I get her comment now. Okay.
Oh, you are the gatekeepers of fame. All the ring comment.
That's what she means. Which ring do I kiss? That's what she meant earlier.
Yes, exactly.
I get it.
We got the second last one. Prairie says Polyev did Ben Mulrooney the other day. Just seen a clip. Haven't looked at the full interview yet. I feel like that's probably pretty softball. Pretty friendly. At least it's something. But I don't know why would he not do PBD? I feel like that would be, I'm sure it wouldn't be a softball, but he wouldn't be looking to trick him or trap him or anything like that.
I think he has a massive team to produce a bunch of content. The guy, more than 10 million followers. And what were we saying the other day? Like 26% of Canadians have listened to at least one podcast in the past month.
Absolutely. It reeks of weakness. If you can't handle what would be, like PBD is not going to be a, he's not going to be like a lapdog or a lackey, but he's by no means going to go after him. He's not going to be hard. And if you don't feel you can handle that, like that's weak.
Because I'd be harder on him than Patrick Bet-David, no questions about it.
Oh yeah,
I would absolutely. I would rip into him for what he's done. So no, you said it. I think it's really just it looks weak. It sounds weak.
Yeah. If it looks like a duck, sounds like a duck, probably a duck.
Smells like shit. It probably is.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we caught up. Okay, let's play a video right now. We're caught up. So again, the question for you guys: do you think that Mark Carney had anything to do with Trump's decision to not impose tariffs on Canada? Or was it just another negotiation tactic by the bad orange men from the United States? You guys tell us. On that note, I got a couple of videos that I wanted to show. First off, I found a great video that actually explains what the tariffs are about and gives a bit more perspective, unlike what the news is going to tell you right now. But let's play. I'm going to play. So there's two videos. I wanted to show a video about an explanation as to what the tariffs are. I have a video that shows what's happening to the stock market right now. And obviously, King Carney has responded to this, and I have a video about that. So let's start with the first one, where we explain what the tariffs are about.
A spectacle in the Rose Garden yesterday. President Trump spent at least 45 minutes or an hour speaking, some scripted, some not scripted. There was a bit of a MAGA rally sort of a vibe about the whole thing. There was a group of 20 or so U.S. steelmakers.
I'm gonna stop him just because I found that board to be so funny. Like, what age are we? Like, are we in the 1960s where you're bringing an actual board?
What is it? Like, what is on the board?
Like, it says China, the reciprocal. Like, what are the? So it's actually an explanation. Like, we don't have screens. Like, we don't have like mass. Like, it's the fucking US. Can they not have a massive fucking ginormous screen in the background to show this? Like, like all the new stuff.
That's funny.
Automakers who were there, and it was it was a bit of almost his full cabinet was there. Vice President Vance was there, and as he spoke, the world came to grips with the fact that this wasn't just going to be a flat rate on a across the board. It was going to be many different tariff rate numbers depending on which country we're talking about. China got hit with 50. China now faces China's imports into the U.S. face a 54% tariff, whereas 2 months ago, that number was 0. So we have gone from kind of 0 to 60 kilometers an hour, in terms of the effect on the global economy. So, yeah, it was interesting to watch the market reaction as Trump spoke. All the market knew was the 10% baseline rate, and then eventually, once it absorbed all the other numbers, the much higher numbers, stocks turned down. So the sentiment really kind of whipsawed there in the after.
Just because you asked the question, the video's not finished, but I figured I would find. I found what the board was. So here is what he was holding.
He's such a showman, eh? Like, you can picture him being like, all right, like a big, who do we got on the top? It's China.
Really? Oh, yeah.
Like, just sliding it off.
On it.
Who do we have next? Is it Canada? No, it's Germany.
Oh, that's fucking funny. I didn't think about that.
He's just
But
such a showman.
this is what the board is, and as big surprise to Carney, by destroying Carney's whole campaign, there's zero about Canada.
Maybe
So
that's what he's trying to do. Maybe he's trying to hurt the liberal, the Carney. I don't know. Because it does. I think you're right. It definitely does help Polyev, because that was Carney's big. That was his big.
they have to
thing.
campaign now. They
Yeah.
have to campaign now.
But you know what? I think, like, obviously here in Canada, we really got fixated on our tariffs, obviously, because that's the ones that hits us. But that 54% on China, that is going to have massive global implications to the entire economy. That's going to just completely warp how our economy, the global economy, has worked for the last 40 years.
If you hold your thought, I got a video about this too.
Oh, okay.
I would
Well,
expect-
you got a video for everything.
Yeah, 100%. But this is Bloomberg, right? So we still believe like Bloomberg is still very financial savvy, and the next videos is Yahoo Financial. So I actually went to some of the best sources, but let's just finish this, and I'll show you
We
the
heard
other
from
video
the US
afterwards.
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. He spoke to Bloomberg shortly after the announcement, warning against retaliation. But already we're seeing other countries ramping up their response to this as well. Talk us through some of the responses we've heard.
Yeah, so far we've heard. So one of the few areas to avoid a big hit was Canada and Mexico. Canada, they already have they're under another sort of tariff regime, so they did not get hit with these reciprocal tariffs, and so you would think that there would be room for negotiation there. And Doug Ford, a Canadian politician, said he would urge the Prime Minister not to retaliate. So maybe there's some room for negotiation there. We heard a similar kind of tone from Japan, who said this was regrettable, but we look forward to sitting down with the Trump administration and working through this. The European Union, as you mentioned, was out very early this morning saying we have a big response if talks fail. So they are leaving the door open. You know, never has there been a better telegraphed beginning of a trade war than April 2nd, 2025. So the EU could have come back immediately with a package of retaliation, but they came in this morning and they said, we'll give talks a chance. So those are the three between Asia, North America, and Europe. There seems to be a tone of, okay, let's sit down. This is the worst case scenario, but let's try to talk through it.
Yeah.
And I found that interesting. And obviously, the reaction you just had, probably similar to mine, is where it's interesting to see that this was never hidden. He's been talking about it for months. This was not a surprise. He fucking called it Liberation Day. So it was coming. Everybody knew it was coming. Yet you look at the way other countries are responding to it. They're just we're still ready to negotiate. Like, let's figure it out.
Well, it sounds like they played a game of chicken and Trump might have won. Because it kind of sounds like everyone is sort of like, okay, you got a point. We have been taking advantage of you guys, because almost every country has had tariffs on America or American goods for a long time. And I mean, fuck, like, again, I don't, I just, I'm not a fan of Trump. I don't like the guy per se, but if he can pull that off, like, that's just a solid move. That's just like a classic America first move. If he can just, when the dust settles, basically you have true free trade. There's no tariffs, like, on America or on anyone else. That will be a huge win for the Trump administration, and they'll get to take a well-deserved victory lap.
We're getting fresh lines from Japan, from Ishiba, saying that Japan won't hesitate to talk directly with Trump if necessary. Deeply concerned over the consistency of US tariffs with the WTO. The World Trade Organization will strongly urge the US to review tariff measures. President Trump is following through, though, as you say, long telegraphed, long promised campaign to reshape global trade. So a question domestically in the US, will it help the US in the long run?
Well, yeah. Well, what matters in politics is not the long run, in the short run. So when you look at the countries that got hit, you're talking about the hardest. You're talking about Vietnam, Malaysia, places where Apple, an iconic American company, has shifted its production. So everyone who wants to buy an Apple iPhone going forward is going to pay whatever that tariff rate now is on Vietnam. It's in that high 40%. I think it's very high. During the first trade war, a lot of Chinese companies moved to these places in South Asia to avoid the tariffs, and now the second Trump administration is catching up with them, and so.
It's clever, right? They moved from China, let's go to a different country, let's go
Vietnam.
somewhere else.
Trump
And now
says,
Trump's like,
no. I got
gotcha, bitch.
Gotcha,
Yep. And but it's a good thing that Apple products are so cheap in the first place. So with those new tariffs, it's not gonna show much, right?
You add fucking 35% to an iPhone? That's what is that? That's an extra $200, $300 on an already very, very expensive piece of equipment.
And you know that that was done on purpose. You know,
because
for a
you know
fact
why.
that was done on purpose.
Trump will say, "Okay, we'll make it here, make it in America." And I mean, fuck, if you could get Apple to make iPhones in America, that would be a signature achievement for a U.S. president.
But I don't know if you remember this. That's what I was going to check right now. But Apple had announced, since Trump has been president. Yeah, it was on February 24th, 2025. Apple will spend more than $500 billion in the US over the next 4 years.
Wow.
So basically, they were teams and facilities to expand in Michigan, Texas, California, Arizona, Nevada, Iowa, Oregon, North Carolina, and Washington. Plans include a new factory in Texas, doubling the U.S. Advanced Manufacturing Fund, a manufacturing academy, and accelerated investment in AI and silicon engineering. So they're already looking to expand in the U.S. $500 billion is a good fucking amount of money.
That's a crazy amount of money.
But that was back in February, like 24th of February.
Yeah.
Imagine now.
Feels like a
Don't be
lifetime ago.
surprised. But don't be surprised that Apple, because you'll see in the next video what's happening right now in the stock market. But don't be surprised if Apple comes back in the next week and say, you know what, we will construct, or we will build all the US devices right here. So anything that is meant for the US market will make them in the U. Trump is just gonna, I'm winning. I'm winning.
Yeah. And that will be the kind of a win that even his critics will have to hand to him. That's the kind of just bipartisan, just unambiguous win. Now, one way to think about like this global trade, the way that it's gone over the last 30, 40 years, you know how much money, like think of how much money China is putting into its military, into its infrastructure. You know, they're spending hundreds of billions, trillions of dollars. The vast majority of that money would have stayed in America if they did not move all the manufacturing base to China in the 70s and 80s. So as rich as America is right now, they would basically be America's economy plus China's economy. So there's a fucking ton of money at stake. And if Trump can even suck back 30% of the manufacturing capacity that moved to China over the last 20, 30, 40 years, he would probably be the unquestioned most jobs creating economic genius president in modern history. I think a lot of people, it's easy to forget how much that policy, when Richard Nixon opened up China in the 70s and all these manufacturing jobs went over there, it's easy to forget just how much that really hollowed out the middle class. And a lot of people are really even still angry about it. That's the wave that Trump won in 2016. Those angry people in the Rust Belt, and now it's coming back to bite them. The chickens are coming home to roost.
And you know that what's going to happen. Like this only happened yesterday evening. Yep. You know that if Apple's ready to spend $500 billion over the next 4 years, they're going to add at least a 1 in front of that now that they don't have a choice anymore. And don't be surprised if Samsung does the same thing. Don't be surprised if most manufacturers are going to have to do that. At least they can keep whatever whatever products are not meant for the US, they can still continue producing them in China, for example.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever is meant for here.
Yeah. Yeah,
because they have the biggest markets in the.
It's the biggest.
US is the biggest market. Yeah,
the biggest consumer market in the world. If you're a player, you have to have access to it. You have to be there. And if the only way to be there is to make your products in in America, then that's that's a huge win for Trump, because it's all about dollars and cents, right? The reason why they ship to China is because even factoring in the transportation of the goods over here, it still was cheaper and it made sense. But if you slap a 54% tariff on that, then it will not make sense anymore, and then it will make sense to build here. And that's I suspected that's what he was doing when this all came about, and now I'm pretty confident that's exactly what he's doing. And if it is, I mean, he could be poised to have one of the most unambiguous wins of the US president in modern history, as far as I'm concerned.
It's gonna be hard for his competition or his opposition to talk bad about him on these ones, because he's making moves that no presidents ever since Nixon have ever considered. Nobody's considered this before. Imagine if he makes it happen.
And I think Americans are so frustrated with the government acting like, oh, we can't do anything to stop it. It's kind of like with immigration, right? For 20, 30 years, they keep saying there's nothing we can do about the southern border. Well, apparently there is. And
you just didn't take that much.
No, you just need the political will to do it. And whether you like Trump or hate him, to see someone just come in and just sort of swing the big stick around, that's hugely appealing.
And I don't think you're talking about his dick, right?
No. So I got a feeling it's You ever see those tiny hands? I got a feeling.
I was going to say, if you judge his
yeah.
So and try to sort of block that end run around tariffs that they were trying to do. So you got to wonder what the effect is going to be in the short term on the economy, and on as we heard some previous guests say, this doesn't clear up the uncertainty cloud that's been hanging over markets and companies for the past couple of months. In some cases, it makes it even worse.
There you have it. There you have it, man. It's Bloomberg. I think they explained it very well. I think it gave a really good idea of what's actually going on. But one of the things I found interesting is the way the market responded to this. Because if you've been, unless you're not an investor, you don't play the market, as we say, you might not realize that, or you might just hear whatever the media wants you to believe and freak out about it. But here's another video I found from Yahoo Finance. Yahoo Finance, yeah.
Okay.
They explain what's going on with the market right now, and with the type of commentary that we've made already, it might just make sense for them to come back. Like, he might just be able to pull a W by scaring the shit out of those big companies and just saying, you know what, we're done with this shit. You change or you're fucked. Because at the end of the day, like, look at a company like Apple. Nobody's talking about Samsung. Nobody's talking about Google. Nobody's talking about the other producer of cell phones, because they're not affected the way Apple is. So if you don't do something about it, you will lose massive market shares in the US, and not only in the US, but in Canada too. Imagine that they start producing the devices here in the US. Canada is going to take advantage of that too. It's right across the border. So, man, this could be a mass. Like, Apple has a competition in Android, but they have Google to worry about. They have Samsung to worry about. They have a lot more than just one. So that could be a massive mistake for Apple if they don't do exactly what Trump wants them to do.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, when you see those numbers, like 54%, that's kind of it's kind of a weird number, right? Like, I suspect a lot of these numbers are very precisely picked to essentially, because Trump, well, he doesn't really have the power to force a private company to do what he wants, but he doesn't need to. All he has to do is change the parameters so that it no longer makes sense for them. If it doesn't make financial sense, they won't do it. It's not like they love China. They only did it because it made sense financially. If you tweak it so it no longer makes sense, they'll come back. It's pretty simple. And he's, if he's again, like, if this is what he's doing, and it looks like he is, it's a really smart move politically. It's a smart move just as the leader of the country, because there'll be huge benefits for America. And you know what? There'll be big benefits for Canada too.
By
Liberated
association.
Mr. Market and the Beast.
Exactly.
Hold on. Sorry, man. Go for it.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, just by, that's why we were saying, we've talked a little bit on the show where Canada might have to come up to a crossroads soon. Do we shift towards Europe, or do we shift towards America? And I mean, this is just more evidence that we should be shifting towards America, because again, if they get even 25% of the manufacturing capacity that they lost, that's trillions of dollars. And just by being next door, if they're friendly with us, a lot of that's going to spill over this way.
Once again, we get we're taking advantage of being the little brother across the border. We're milking the American cow. Let's say that.
Exactly.
Trump has liberated Mr. Market, and the Beast looks keen to now run through and over investors. In a Liberation Day spectacle at the White House Wednesday afternoon, Trump uncorked a baseline tariff rate of 10% on countries that will go into effect on April 5th. Additional tariffs will be added for some countries that the administration considers to be the worst offenders. Some of those alleged worst offenders are important sourcing and business regions for many large U.S. companies, such as Apple, Nike, and Walmart. China, for example, will see an estimated reciprocal tariff of 34%. Vietnam clocks in at 32%. Japan is at 24%. Now, the markets are getting pounded on news that pros tell me came as a negative shock. Right now, Dow Jones Industrial Average futures are down about 1,200 points, or nearly 3%. S&P 500 futures are down 3.5%, and NASDAQ futures are off by 3.8%. We've also seen big losses in Japan's Nikkei and Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index. Now, here's the hot analysis you need to know right now as all this stuff is happening. First, retail stocks are getting absolutely battered.
Look at those numbers. Walmart minus 4%.
Wow. Yeah, because exactly.
Like it was above 90% of their products come from Walmart.
That's right.
Comes from China, wasn't it? Nike almost 10% overnight. Why? Because all their shit is done in China. And then Under Armour, a company that I despise, is also obviously almost 10%.
Now, you know what number I'd be interested to see? What's the US dollar doing? I bet you the US dollar is doing well. See if you can find it there. I suspect, because this is going to be very, I think, bullish for just America. It's bad for some American companies like Walmart, like Nike, like Under Armour, but these are all companies that have been, these are the exact companies that have been profiting from this move to China. So of course they're going to be hurt.
It's trying to compare the U.S. Oh, there you go.
View chart here.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a good one here.
Yeah, it's weird because you got to go to even just versus a euro, because usually it's like the U.S. dollar against everything.
Yeah. No, but it seems like it's down. It's been down 1.86%. But the thing to remember, though, is that, like in the last video, tariffs are short term.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
So the market's going to correct itself, and I would be ready to bet that if you're going to compare a week from now, it will be up from prior to the tariffs themselves. But man, those numbers that you're seeing on screen right now, minus 4% for Walmart, minus 10% almost for Nike, and minus almost 10% for Under Armour, these people must be fucking flipping.
Oh, fuck yeah. Oh, yeah.
10% of your share overnight? Damn.
That's bad. That's really bad.
And it's just going to continue getting worse because you got companies like Nike and Under Armour. They don't have products that are unmatched. Like, you don't look at a Nike or an Under Armour and say those are the best on the market. There's better products out there from smaller companies that probably are not much more expensive than they are, and they're produced right here in North America. So Nike and Under Armour, they should be fucking nervous that, you know, a mid player, somebody that's been around for a while, that probably has enough money to launch a big marketing effort to just say, hey guys, unlike Nike, unlike Under Armour, our products are not made in China. They're made right here in the US. So why would you encourage Nike and Under Armour? Why would you face more and more tariffs and more expensive when you can just buy from us directly? Oh, bro, if I was in marketing for one of those companies right now, I would have a very hard, I would be hard under the desk.
Well, yeah, and the reason these companies are, you know, they're losing the stock price is because it will be bad for those companies. They won't make as much profit, but the money that they lose won't be lost. It will go into the pockets of American workers, right? It's going to be, it's bad for Walmart, yes, but it's going to be great for America.
And you get to kind of put it out there in front of everybody to say those guys are producing everything in China. We're trying to align with Trump's new policies and bring jobs back. Let's make America great again. Like, that's why his hashtag, his lines, or his slogans are so good. Because now, just like the cultural vibe switch that we've seen, where people are just dancing like Trump, you're going to see the same thing happening. People are just going to get behind Trump, use his own slogans to go get the MAGA hats, to go get the people that want to bring manufacturing jobs to the US again. And man, if you're smart, if I was a marketing company for one of those medium-sized apparel brand, oh bro, I would embrace that shit head on, because there's money to be made. They're not going to be able to switch their manufacturing overnight. It's going to take months, if not years. So no matter what, they're going to hurt for a little while.
Oh yeah, yeah. But they'll adjust, right? Like, yeah, in the short term, those companies will. But the reason they'll lose money is because they're not going to be able to make their goods super cheap anymore. They're going to have to pay American workers American wages to make their products, and that will be, again, it will be bad for those companies in the short term, but they'll adjust. It will definitely
make deals. Yeah, I guarantee you're going to start seeing deals saying, hey, Walmart, we just made a deal with Walmart that over the next few years, they're going to bring back that many jobs in the US. You'll know this exactly what's going to happen.
Yep. Absolutely.
Walmart.
Ready for the rest?
Yeah, let's keep going.
Nike, Under Armour are getting slammed as steep tariffs on China could hammer profits. Take a look at Nike. The footwear giant relies on China and Vietnam for 55% of its sourcing. Stifel analyst Jim Duffy estimates Nike could see $1.69 a share in earnings wiped out this year because of these tariffs. Next up, Tim Apple won't have a good day. Apple CEO Tim Cook, of course, once called Tim Apple
overnight
by President Trump in his first term, will have a tough day. Wow. Morgan Stanley estimates that tariffs on iPhones and other devices from China will increase Apple's annual cost by a whopping $8.5 billion. That could hit Apple's profits by 52 cents next year. Absolutely brutal. And lastly, the technical takedown. Market technicians are locked in on S&P 500's March 13th closing low of 55.2750. At this moment, the S&P 500 is poised to test that low. Breakthrough below the March lows intraday, coupled with a new closing low, could really damage sentiment further. Pros warn. RBC strategist Lori Calvasina says the S&P 500 has a clear shot to 4,900 if that low is breached. Be sure.
Just so you guys know, if you're not an investor and you don't understand what the S&P 500 is, it is just a mix of the 5 most successful companies in the US. That's all it is. They have a purchasing, people buy shares. Companies like Vanguard through ETFs buy shares into the 500 most popular or most successful company in the US.
I think it's the 500 biggest. I think.
Yes, it's the
by
ones that
market
make the 500 companies that make the most money,
yeah,
and they buy shares. You can buy fractional shares by buying their ETFs. So there's a good reason why the SP 500 is probably the best place for you to invest your money if you don't want to understand the market
Yeah.
per se. Because year over year, decade over decade, you're looking at about a 10% increase year over year, decade over decade, and this will readjust because if companies fall out of the SP 500, new ones are going to come in. So it'll be fine.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, exactly. Like
That's the part they don't want to tell you, right? That's the part they don't tell you in those videos. But yeah.
And the fact of the matter is yes, it might not be like it when they hollowed out the manufacturing base 30, 40 years ago, it was terrible for the American worker. It was terrible for the American middle class and the American economy. But it was great for big companies. So this is kind of the reverse. Yes, it won't be great for big companies right now. They'll adjust, but it will be good for the middle class. It will be good for the American economy. And it will be good for American workers. So in some ways, it's just sort of like, okay, you guys got yours. Now you have to let, the American middle class, the American worker get theirs again.
I agree, man. I completely agree with you. So, right now, oh, you know what? I wanted to show one more thing. I wanted to show one more video, and it is King Carney himself telling us how he's going to deal with the tariffs. Oh, King Carney.
When he had the speech all planned, He was.
What do you think? What do you
fight?
When was this? Was this yesterday or earlier today?
No, that was yesterday around when the tariffs were announced. But here's King Carney telling us what he's going to do.
We're going to fight these tariffs with countermeasures.
What tariffs?
Yeah. We are going to protect
really took the
our
wind
workers,
out of his sails,
and we are going to build the strongest economy in the G7. In a crisis, it's important to come together, and it's essential to act with purpose and with force. And that's what we will do. We're going to fight.
Elbows up, bitches. Elbows up. He has nothing. Like, that's what I was saying at the beginning. This is taking all of the wind from his sails. And now that he's cut the tax, the tax on carbon, the carbon tax, he has nothing. Now he's really going to need to run on real policies, and explaining that he was behind most of Trudeau's financial decisions over the past 9 years is going to be a hard one. And if I was Pierre Poilievre, that's all I would talk about.
Yeah.
Hey, Carney, weren't you the one consulting with Justin Trudeau? Is that not what you were? Is that not all you? Because again, if the people, for the liberal people out there, how ridiculous is it that you got a guy like Carney that's made a career praising carbon taxes to fight climate change, and now he axed it? So what is it? Does climate not climate change doesn't exist anymore? Do I get to pollute with my massive truck and diesel again without being hassled? Like, what's going on right now? Is climate change not real? Because that's all he's showing. Like, by adding a tax, removing a tax when it doesn't fit his agenda, you're pretty much telling me that you don't believe in climate change either, or at least human-made climate change. Because I thought the only way to get rid of it was to tax me. Clearly, it didn't work. So is climate change real?
Yeah, I mean, well, I mean, I'm sure that he would say that it is. But this move really took the wind out of his sails. I don't. I bet you he is just fuming right now, which is kind of fucked up. He's probably really upset that the tariffs didn't get put on us. And I mean, that kind of shows a little bit of where, if that, at the end of the day, it's like, isn't that a good thing? You're the Prime Minister of Canada. Shouldn't you be happy if we don't have tariffs? But I suspect he'll pretend like he is, but I bet you, who knows? Maybe Trump's people kind of got the sense that, they were going to use the tariffs to their political advantage. And like, no, we're not going to let them use us like that. And just said, okay, no tariffs for you. It'd be fascinating to be a fly in the wall in that decision-making process.
And that a guy like Trump would be pity enough to do that. Like,
Oh
petty
yeah,
enough to just,
he doesn't
no,
give a shit.
he's not gonna
like,
use me.
yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, I'll show you. No tariffs for Canada.
No tariffs for you. At least he could delay them by a month. Just say,
Yeah.
you know what? Take them off the book. They're gonna have a fair election in Canada, and he's not gonna use me to
Yeah,
make his
yeah.
to become prime minister. Kashmir
Elon's-
saying Elon's neurodivergent project with markers and post-it notes, the tariff poster boards. You know, this is the only thing that worries me about bringing all the manufacturing job back to the US is that this is going to be replaced by robots and AI. Like the technology is being built right now. How long is that going to be good for people? 5 years, 10 years? Maybe that's what they need to push that new AI technology and just have robots built it. So hopefully it does bring jobs back, but will it? I guess we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. It's we're in fascinating times. For us, people like us, to give us a lot of content to talk about for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Rob.
Thank you.
Cheryl.
Cheryl is saying, go for it.
I've heard some people say that this is typical Trump, that he will prop someone up and then pull the rug out of pull the rug out from under them. I mean, he is that kind of deviant, he's devious enough to do that kind of stuff. And I honestly just kind of think he just likes it. I think he just likes fucking around with people. It's got to be pretty fun to be the most powerful man in the world, just fucking tariffs for you, yoink, just like pulling knobs and levers, and the entire world moves at your fingertips. Like that's got to be pretty cool. And he's probably just enjoying it.
Luckily for Mark Carney, the fall to the ground is not a big one because he is pretty short. So
yeah, he comes up to like his wife's like chin or something. Have you seen them together?
You can always judge by door frames because regular door frames are just under 7 feet tall. So you can judge by how wide they are compared to the door frame and how tall. And Mark Carney, when people are so short, they look like they shuffle everywhere. Like, hey, hello. Yeah. They have to take a lot of steps to get where they're going. And that's what I see about Mark Carney. So the fall to the ground is not going to be a huge one.
Okay, so Cheryl continues. Canada has also lost its manufacturing sector, starting with NAFTA, and then even more when most manufacturing moved to China. It would be nice to see Canada regain its. Yeah, true, but we also did gain a decent amount with NAFTA. We got a lot of pretty much the entire Southern Ontario automobile market came about as of NAFTA. But you're right, we also lost them as well. I think. I'd like to see closer ties with the states. I'd like to see. I saw someone on X the other day was saying like some sort of like Fortress North America would be kind of cool. Sort of like, not necessarily one country, but like closer ties. Sort of like almost maybe like what the EU is doing. They still have their own countries, but they're within the EU. It's one economic zone, economic bloc, and I think that would definitely benefit us, probably more so than it would benefit the America. If they were stupid enough to offer us something like that, I think we should jump on it.
I would take it. If he tells me tomorrow I can trade in my passport, peace out, bitches. Yeah. I'm out. I'm out of here. So yeah, I agree. Got two more. Prairie is saying maybe Trump was tired of hearing how the problems in Canada are his fault. I don't think that bothers him at all. I think that he would be more irritated by the fact that somebody else is using his tactics to build himself up. That's the part that, like you said, I would so see him be, there's no fucking way he's going to win this election on my back.
Yeah.
So you know what, Carney?
Yeah, exactly. He hates, that's one of his things. He hates when people, take credit on his or get benefits off of him. He just hates the idea of it. And I could absolutely see him being petty enough to do that.
And I agree. I think you're bang on that one.
Yeah.
Easy
Yeah.
way to shut that down. Yeah, well, he just did. And
Yeah.
I'm really curious to see how Mini Carney is gonna respond to this. I'm
Well, he's
really,
gonna
really
have
curious
to
to see.
pretend like he likes it, right? He's gonna have to be like, yeah, no tariffs, because he's the fucking prime minister. There's like, if he comes out but like, I wonder if he's gonna be able to, because he's. I saw on X the other day a couple people saying like the guy just seems like he's just filled with rage. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we saw it with that interview, and he just seems like a really angry guy in a weird
Just
sort of
remove the
way.
volume, like I was saying the other day, like I did on the show. Remove the volume and just look at his mannerism. He is not a nice
Yeah.
person. Like you have a feeling of a hate and evil coming from that guy. But you know what?
Yeah, I
I think
agree.
Carney kind of fucked himself because what can he do? He could literally go on and say, if it was any other president, Carney could go in and just say, guys, we're not getting any tariffs because I stood up to the Americans. If he does that to Trump, Trump is just going to go, bro, I took it off just because I wanted to fuck with you. Like he's dumb enough to actually say that out loud. He doesn't care. He does not
Oh
care.
yeah.
So no matter
Oh
what,
yeah.
Carney
Absolutely.
right now is dealing with a situation that he cannot address. What can he say? If we assume that Trump did this out of pittiness, what can you tell him? You can't respond to him in any way that's going to make you look good, or it might make you look good for 5 minutes until he sees your tweet and then goes on 20 different social media platform and blasts you saying, you know what, I didn't do that for you. I just love Canadians and they deserve to have a fair election as a prime minister. I did not want to get involved in your election. And I will deal with the prime minister, the next Canadian prime minister. No matter what, he could make it look. If I was Trump, bro, I would play this shit. But Carney's fucked. Like his whole platform's on this. He's gonna have to run a real election now.
Yeah. I think that's a good point. It's wow, what a crazy news day. I feel like it's one of those, like, it feels like a crazy news day, but I feel like, a month from now, we'll look back on it and realize it was even crazier than we actually think at the time. Like, I feel like this is just setting things in motion that we're not even sure about right now that are gonna happen.
Love or hate Trump, he's not an idiot. Neither is his party. Neither is his administration. They know exactly what you're doing. And, like you were saying earlier, he's just like moving the levers everywhere. He's pressing on the buttons. And he's just like, ooh, everything is switching to my will. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's playing. He's playing chess, and you and I are playing checkers. Like, we don't understand what the fuck's going on.
Cheryl says, Rob, I'm referring to canneries in Eastern Canada and our clothing industry. Oh yeah, I mean, like I live in New Brunswick, so I mean, I know exactly what you mean. For sure that we there is, we've out here manufacturing has been absolutely decimated. I think the Atlantic provinces are kind of the poorer provinces, anyways. And I feel like that sort of, yeah, it is. You're right. I hadn't really thought of that, but that's a good point.
So my intentions were to show a longer video about the Tara Lich and Chris Barber update, because right now, there we go. There's an update. I was waiting for it. Good for you, Gary. That? God damn it. Fuck, we got some good people. Comment from Gary Barrett. Breaking, Tamara Lich and Chris Barber found guilty of mischief. Yeah, but mischief? Man, I've been trying to find. I'm literally on X on the Explore with Tara Lich written on top. Refresh. That's what I've been doing. So I don't know what that entails. What's mischief in Canada? Is it even that big of a deal? Like, what are they facing?
No, like mischief is like young boys going out getting into mischief. Like if you play like Nicky Nine Door, or like where you knock on the door and you run away. You could call that mischief. I didn't know it was a criminal charge. I'm kind of, I don't know. You should just Google like what's the actual definition of criminal mischief.
Where did he? Oh, right here. I follow Right Blend. I actually like this stuff. Like I like his stuff. Hold on, I have his page right here. Man, I love that we have some listeners that are just on the ball.
Yeah. You
Man,
guys
this makes me happy
yeah.
to run this show. Love it.
just dialed right in.
So 12 minutes ago, Right Blend said that the presence of Lich and Barber in of itself was an action. They were celebrities. There we go. 9 minutes ago, both Tara and Chris found guilty as both principal and party plus aider abettor on the mischief count. I'm not sure what that actually entails. Tara Lich and Chris Barber found guilty of mischief. What is mischief in
I'm gonna try to
Canada?
Google that too.
I'm Googling it right now.
Right.
In Canada, mischief under the criminal code section 430 refers to the willful destruction or damage of property, rendering it dangerous or useless or obstructing someone's lawful use of property. Obviously, that's about the convoy protests and preventing people to their houses, like they weren't able to move around as they wanted to because they were right downtown. But it's so much bullshit because technically the Canada Day protest, the Free Palestine protest that happens every single week, they do that, yet they're not going after those organizers for the same reason, are they?
Yeah. That's interesting. Hey, they never go after those ones.
So let's hear penalties for mischief. Mischief causing actual danger to life, indictable offenses potentially punishable by life imprisonment. Obviously, that's not the case. Mischief in relation to property exceeding $5,000, potentially punishable by up to 10 years imprisonment. Oh, shit. So they're facing real consequences here. Mischief in relation to property under 5,000, you're looking at punishable by up to 2 years imprisonment or summary conviction with maximum sentence of 6 months. So basically, there are real consequences, man, bro. You know that it's not actual danger to life. Obviously, that's not what they did, but I got a feeling that it could be the second one, which mischief in relationship to property exceeding $5,000, potentially punishable by up to 10 years in prison.
Now,
fucked.
There's no way they'll get that though. I don't think. What is the specific? What did they damage? What did they destroy?
We're gonna have to see. Like, it just happened right now. I'm not a lawyer, but I can tell you guys that tomorrow we're gonna be speaking about this. We're gonna be providing an update on this because those people. I was part of that convoy protest, and what those guys did was amazing, and it really showed Canadians that our government is tyrannical, that they're ready to block people. They're not only are they capable of freezing bank accounts, they have no shame in doing it. So they exposed the government by what they did by the convoy protest. So let's see what happens. We'll definitely talk about it more because I'd like to have a lawyer explain it. And both Rob and I are not lawyers. We can only go by what we're seeing. But if I'm correct, it seems that they could be facing up to 10 years in prison. That's fucked, man. But again, they'll appeal it. I'm sure they're going to appeal it. I'm sure they're going to do something. This is not the end of it. But what I would love to see is to have another protest. I would love to see another protest in Ottawa for this, because if this indeed sticks, I will go to Ottawa. We'll cover that. I'll drive up to Ottawa to go protest. I'm just an hour and a half away. So I will definitely drive up to Ottawa and go protest with the people and record this shit, because this is
I bet you. Yeah. I mean, and it'll be interesting to see and who was
especially
it that,
in election time.
Was that Kashmir that brought that up? Or no, that was Gary.
No, Gary Barrett. Yeah, thanks for that, bro, by the way.
Yeah,
love it. Thank you.
Nice call on that. Yeah, is there any news on when the sentencing will be, or will that be another day, or is that going to happen?
It's literally
now?
You're talking 10 minutes away. Like when he broke it,
just
when
now.
Gary broke it, he must have been
judge
like,
is probably still
refresh. Yeah. So, but what I want to see though, guys, is if they do end up going to prison for this, we need to go down to Ottawa. Like, I will be there. I will happily go down there and protest this, because this is bullshit. I was part of all the protests during COVID. Definitely, we need to go there. Keep it light. Keep it amicable. Keep it peaceful. But this is the type of stuff, guys, that we need to go to Parliament and complain about this. And remember, they're in election time right now. This is the perfect situation to go against the Liberal to say, guys, this is because of you that this is happening. And that would force Polyev to stand up for once for something. Because if he wouldn't, a lot of his voter base are the people that were part of the convoy. Yeah, but he's gonna have, that's something that could play against Carney. Because if Pierre Poilievre is smart, he would say right now, if I am elected prime minister, I will pardon them. I will make sure that everything is annulled, that Lynch and Barber go free. So this to me, again, Carney must be fucking fuming right. I don't understand how he did not cancel this. If he would have been smart politically, he would have just said, you know what? Pass in the past. We've dealt with this. Let's forget. Because again, this is giving ammunition to Polyev. The tariffs and this could be the win that Polyev could be the two things that he needs to win.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they. I think the response of both, if they even speak about it, will be telling about sort of how they envision the rest of their campaign going. I don't know anything about the judge. It wouldn't surprise me if he's just does a time served thing or something. I feel like a lot of people just want to get through this. Obviously, the prosecutors didn't, the government didn't, but I think a lot of the people do. And who knows? We'll see what the judge says. But I think you're right. If they get sentenced to jail time, there's going to be a lot of really angry people.
I'm telling you, if they do get sentenced to prison, let's go to Ottawa peacefully, but let's do it. For sure, I will be there. For sure. I'm going to go down there and report on it because this is bullshit. That could have been me. I was there too. It's a good thing I wasn't as big as I am today, but that could have been me. That could be the next person to get in trouble. Could be me or one of the guys that you see every day talking about this stuff. So, guys, if you like this type of show, this is the type of stuff we need to stand up to because this is bullshit. This is absolute bullshit. Anything else you wanted to add on this before I get into trouble?
Yeah, no, that's all right. It sounds like it's like extremely breaking news. So we'll let it unfold a little bit.
We'll talk about it tomorrow. I can guarantee you that we will talk about this tomorrow. The next thing I wanted to talk about, guys, is, you know what? Let's take a couple of the comments just in case before I jump into the next video, because I know a lot of our listeners are big supporters of this, not as in of the sentencing, but big supporters of the Freedom Trucker, the Freedom Convoy. So, hey, Gary, I don't know what YW is. I'm not cool
you're
enough.
welcome. I'm just saying you're welcome.
Oh, see, I'm not that cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not that cool, but I appreciate it. Thanks for exposing my uncoolness. I appreciate it. Melissa Lim, what's going on? What is going on? I agree. It's crazy news, but let's see what happens. We'll definitely talk about it tomorrow. So thanks again, Gary, Melissa. Again, it seems like it's a big deal to our Canadian listeners, and we're going to definitely talk about it. Perry is saying they did the same thing with Pat King, and he was concerned about the fate of Tamara and Chris today. And you know what? I don't know what is happening with Pat King, but I'm supposed to record something with him soon. I can't say. I don't know if his new podcast has been out, but there's rumors that he does have a new podcast coming out, and I could be very close to him. So I definitely want to go see him, but I can't spoil anything because I don't know him enough to know this. I shouldn't know this. No, actually I should, because he admitted to it. But all to say that we'll follow up. I definitely want to record something with Pat King. And if something happens in Ottawa, I'm going to show up there because this is not right. And Cheryl is saying that Rob, apparently they're going after Pat King for a beggar's sentence, even after he was sentenced. You know what? If that's the case, let's expose this. Let's talk about this because this is bullshit. This could be you and I, bro. This literally could be you and I. So
fuck. We'll we'll let it unfold, but maybe I just want to always look at the bright side, but I had hoped maybe they were just willing to like let bygones be bygones, but maybe they want to hammer them, maybe want to throw the book at them, and that would be pretty fucked up.
Well, they're going to pay the price for it this time. I guarantee you that. I know a lot of content creators in Canada, and we have a massive audience. If we pull us all together, we're going to be able to impact this. So let's keep an eye on it. But this is interesting, Gary.
Yeah,
why
why
do you not
back in?
trust? Yeah, that's interesting. I can't say I understand why, but I'd be curious for you to explain why you don't trust Pat King. I'd very I don't like his new friends, is what it's saying. Who's his new friends? Are you talking about relating to his new podcast that he's going to be dropping, or maybe he already has? I haven't been keeping up with him, but let us know. Prairie is saying yes, the government is appealing Pat King's sentencing. Oh, that's fun.
Wow.
And Cheryl is saying, I heard somewhere that they are intending to go after everyone who made a donation to the convoy.
That's
Well,
wild.
You know, Pierre Poilievre built his platform on the Freedom Convoy, although he never stood for anything. Once it was at the end, he started talking about how he was for them. He's going to have a chance to do something, and this is not good for Carney. Nothing of what's going on right now is going to reflect good on Carney. So he doesn't have the tariffs anymore. Now we're looking at a situation where Pierre Poilievre could literally say, I will make sure they don't see jail, that Pat King doesn't go, that Tamara doesn't go to jail, that Barber doesn't go to jail. We're just going to remove everything. He has a chance to stand up for something for once. So let's see what Pierre Poilievre is, but it seems like it's not good for Mini King Carney. Gary Barrett is saying that I will leave it there.
He'll leave it there, just saying he doesn't.
I get it, bro. All good, man. We appreciate, but thank you for breaking the news, bro, because I was looking at this. I was refreshing my screen too, so good for you. And I agree, Prairie, it's a double whammy for Carney. Hey, that rhymes. Double whammy for Carney today. I love it. Anything you want to add before we jump into the next one?
It's two things I think are going to hurt Carney. Poilievre, for him, it seems like a no-brainer. Like he's got to be, this will give him something to sort of, it'll actually give him something to talk about, so people don't say, well, why isn't he doing anything? Why isn't he saying anything? At least now it kind of fell into his lap, right? It's pretty easy. What he needs to do is just go out there and talk about the miscarriage of justice and all the things. But we'll see. Maybe he'll fuck that up. Maybe he's been fumbling the ball so hard in the past couple months. Maybe who knows?
Yep. Yesterday I said that he was on his way like 40-yard line to the goal.
Yeah.
He fumbled on himself. There was nobody there. He just dropped. Yeah. Carney picked it up, but it seems that he's dropping the ball too. And now they're just looking at each other like, should I pick it up? Or
who knows? You take it. You take it.
Who's taking it now? So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Next thing I wanted to talk about is something that's trending right now, and I'm not too sure why it's trending, but it's fucking hilarious. So I wanted to talk about Rachel Gilmore. I don't know if you guys heard about her. I don't know. I had no fucking clue who that woman is. I did not know who she was until I saw one of her videos doing 1 million-ish views on X, so I pay attention to those. So maybe, Rob, as a lefty, I'll let you explain who she is, because I didn't know her. All I saw is the video, and I'm like, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. The irony here is beautiful.
Yeah, she's a global news reporter, but she's really more of like a social media influencer almost. Like she is a journalist, but she's one of those journalists where like she tries to insert herself in everywhere. She wants to be the story. She wants to be the celebrity. Like, are you familiar with there's an American journalist, kind of the same. Her name's Taylor Lorenz. And she kind of does the same thing where she just goes around and makes herself the story. Now she's not at all neutral. She's like pretty hard left. And she's up until very recently, she just got fired the other day as a role as a fact checker. And I assume
checker?
A fact checker.
I would like that job. I'm a fact checker. You're fat. You're fat. You're fat. You're fat.
But yeah, and I think she went viral because she got fired, and then she's like sobbing and crying. I didn't see the video, but I've heard.
Oh,
Is it
that's
bad?
exactly what we're talking about. Well,
Okay.
okay. I will keep my opinion for after because I already posted about this morning. But
Yeah.
let me show the video because, man, I hope you guys have your boxes of Kleenexes because it is the most atrocious thing to ever happen to the world.
Get your
I
tiny
don't know how
violin
she
ready.
will. Tiny violin
Yeah.
for Rachel
Yeah.
Gilmore. So here we are. Video's loading. Bum, 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 bum,
What's the
bum, bum.
real impact of the harassment that I have to deal with? After
Oh,
CTV Your
Jesus.
Morning announced that I would be joining them every Friday of the campaign to do a fact check, a bunch of bad faith right wingers who hate me for no other reason than I have reported accurately on the things that people they agree with politically have said and done. They just swarmed, including someone who up until a week before the election was Pierre Poilievre's main spokesperson and is still on Pierre Poilievre's team. And yesterday, CTV called me and informed me that I've lost this career opportunity. Because I was worried that they were going to be spineless, I recorded the phone call. And in that phone call, CTV made it extremely clear that this was being canceled because of the online backlash, not because of my skill set, not because of anything that I have said or done, but because of the way that these bad faith trolls were talking about me online. Bad faith trolls and a member of Pierre Poilievre's team. Before I play you any of this audio, I want you to understand that this is why these guys do this. This is why I get harassed so badly, because they know that it'll work. If you see someone reporting on far right, on threats to democracy, on the rights of trans people, and you bully everyone who gives them a career opportunity anytime they achieve anything, and then those career opportunities get taken away, you're going to realize that it works. And now, because CTV just caved to this pressure for no other reason than the backlash that these guys intentionally inflicted on me, they're going to know that they can do it again. This is a direct attack on journalism, on
No,
the
it
freedom of
isn't,
the
you
press,
dummy.
and
Fuck's
frankly, it really, really is crushing for me. Here's the phone call, and you can decide for yourself.
This is Rachel Gilmore. Is this Jennifer?
Hey, it is. How are you?
I'm okay. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Thanks for calling me back.
Yeah, of course.
I laughed actually when I got your very anonymous voicemail, and I was like, well, that's not surprising.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta be careful.
I realize. I wanted to call to talk to you about the planned appearances that we had you discussed with our team on the show.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're well aware.
So not only is she outraged that cancel culture that she's been part of for years has
Yes,
finally
she's
caught up to
exactly the
her.
kind of person who's ground zero of
Oh, no.
cancer.
I got another one. I got another video of something
Okay.
she posted about 3 years ago to
Okay,
show you the
perfect.
type of individual that she is. But what I find fucking hilarious is that cancel culture is a tactic that the left invented. Now she's mad that the right is like, oh shit, I guess we're more powerful than we thought, so we're going to use your own tactics against you. And she's almost crying. Like, "Ah!" But you know the best part is? What a fucking moron. She silently recorded the person that might give you a job because there's no other people now. You posted this shit as a victim. Nobody's going to hire you now.
Who
What
would
a
hire you
fucking
now?
idiot. What an
Tanked her
idiot. That
career.
woman is an idiot.
Yeah,
Hopefully your TikTok products do well because nobody's going to hire you anymore.
It's just an entitled, smug twat. She absolutely.
Did you just call her a twat?
Yeah, like a
That's
smug.
such a great word. Such a great word. What a twat.
But
I like it. It sounds cool.
Right even there, like she's so biased, she doesn't realize how biased she is when she's talking about going on about, I report on the fight for trans rights. Everybody knows if you frame it like that, you're already biased. Trans people have the same rights as everyone else. So right away, you're telling us where your biases are. And then you're going to try to, like, okay, you're a fact checker, right? What if it comes up to her and says, should this man be allowed to, actually, here's a good example. Let's say the question is there men and women's sports? She would answer as a fact checker. She would say no, because whereas me or you would be like, yeah, that's a guy. Like, what about Leah Thomas? She'll be like, oh, no. Leah Thomas is a woman. So it's not a man and woman sports. That's the kind of fact check you're going to get from her. So of course, it's not that the right-wing trolls are harassing her. It's that she can't be trusted to fact check accurately. And yet she makes it all about her. She's probably burned her career bridges, because who the fuck would hire her now? You don't know when she's filming you. Like, that's a lawsuit waiting to happen. People are just going to say, no, okay, fuck, I don't want anything to do with that. But I want to see this video that you have, because she's exactly the kind of person who is at the heart of cancel culture.
You know, two things here. I reached out to her this morning to say if she wanted to tell her side of the story, I'd have her on. We'd have her on. Obviously,
God, that would be good.
I reached out. I'm just, I'm going to be able to say, like, mainstream media where they're like, we reached out to them for comment.
Yeah.
They never got back to us. I reached out to Rachel Gilmore, but unfortunately, we haven't heard back from her.
And it's funny because media always uses that as a way to, like,
that's why that's exactly why I'm saying this. We reached out to her for comments, but she has not replied to us within the next 5 minutes. So obviously she doesn't want to talk to us. You know what's funny? I'm looking at her Instagram account. She has 56,000 followers. I had about 30 on my Facebook a year ago until I got canceled, until they literally banned me. I cannot open. There's nothing I can do to get my accounts back. And I was doing, above 10 million views. I guarantee you I'm making more views than her on common sense content. And yet she's crying that she's getting canceled. Bitch, please. Bitch, please. I got canceled for real for talking about the real stuff. You are just, the only reason you have an audience is because you seem like a good looking girl and you're pandering. You're exactly a girl that gets to cry about, I'm such a victim. But before you play your violin and you feel too bad for the pretty girl, let's watch this video that somebody posted this morning. And I'm like, oh man, I really need a board that says, gotcha, bitch. That is listen to what she said during the pandemic. This is what she had to say about guys like me. Listen to this.
Okay. Are you going to invite your unvaccinated relatives to sit at the dinner table with you this Thanksgiving? Experts are saying you might not want to risk it. Here's why. According to one expert from McMaster University, vaccines are super effective, but they're most effective when you're surrounded by other vaccinated people. If you invite someone who isn't vaccinated, there's a risk of having a breakthrough case. Now, breakthrough cases are pretty rare. There's only ever been about 8,000 in Ontario, but kids can't get vaccinated yet. So part of keeping those kids as safe as possible is telling that one uncle who chooses not to get vaccinated that he might have to sit this one out. One bioethicist said that that's actually the more ethical thing to do. She also said you should try talking to your relatives about how safe vaccination is. The best way to do that is to start the conversation from a place of respect and empathy. Say things like, I understand you're feeling pressure. I know you're freaked out, but here's why this is important. You can read more at globalnews.ca.
She's like, you should cut off your family members and not invite them. But come approach them with respect, though. Like, come on, man. Like, what do you? Fuck, she's such an idiot. And it's crazy just hearing that, like, because it brought me back to that time. Man, like, what a fucking crazy time. Like, just so casually talking about destroying families, splitting families apart, shunning members of your family. Like, do they work or do they not? If they work, then shouldn't matter if other people are vaccinated, right?
They only work when you're surrounded by people that are vaccinated. That's what she said. Like, that is you know what?
That's wild.
Hey, YouTube. She's absolutely right.
Yes.
Get your 8 booster, or else you're an idiot.
Oh my.
Don't believe
G.
what I say. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Seriously? Vaccines only work when you're surrounded by other people that are vaccinated.
They don't. It's like remember the fucking show Care Bears when they shoot that thing out of their belly when they all have to be doing it at the same time for it to be really powerful. It's, if you've got 5 people vaccinated but one person's not, they don't work. But you need that 6th person, and then all of a sudden, it's such nonsense. And I like how she says, what did she say? According to science, vaccines are super effective. Like, is that a scientific term? Super effective? Like, give me some statistics. Give me probabilities, percentages. Don't tell me super. It's super effective. What is it? Super duper effective, or is it just super? You know what I mean? It's like fucking. It's like child. It's crazy how. And I mean, honestly, even back then, I wouldn't have thought that was that unusual. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was never like her. I wasn't militant about it, but I thought it was sort of a necessary evil. And it's crazy just looking at it now, like looking with like eyes now that obviously we've seen how a lot of this has played out over the last few years. It's wild.
I just noticed that she posted a video yesterday, the past 24 hours. Do you want to listen to it? I haven't watched it yet, but she's probably going to talk how much
Let's play it.
So since we're on the subject, I haven't listened to it.
Okay,
so I don't know, but let's play it. See, just tell me that it works.
The last 24 hours have been crazy, both for me personally.
I can't hear it. Hold on. I need to change my headphones here because I think they're coming out. There you go.
I can hear it yet. Oh, no. Can't hear it right now. Can you hear it on your end?
Yeah, you? Can you hear it?
I can't hear it.
Guy,
I can. Guys in the audience, can you hear that?
You know what? Hold on.
I heard it at first, but I didn't hear it. Yeah, hang on.
No, but it's bro. It takes 2 seconds for me to download the video, so to give me 2 seconds. I'd rather play it.
Yeah, no, I definitely want to see it.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
She's gonna blame everyone else for why her career is trashed. It couldn't possibly be that you filmed.
She's full of shit.
you filmed your employer and put her on blast, making an internal decision.
It's okay, Prairie. I got it. Give me a second. Give me 2 seconds. I downloaded her video. I will have to scrub my computer from viruses afterwards. But here, the video's loading right now. So
24 hours.
There we go. You guys can hear that, right? Can you hear that?
The last 24 hours have been
perfect.
Crazy. Both for me personally and also in the election coverage that I normally do on a daily basis. Before I get to my usual election coverage, I did want to just quickly say something to you all after the last 24 hours. When I decided to share what CTV did, I was really scared no one was going to care. Which would have meant that they learned no lesson, and this would happen to another journalist next time there's a bad faith outrage campaign that's trying to silence someone. But you guys, you did care. And you made sure CTV heard that loud and clear. If only to teach them the difference between bad faith outrage and real outrage, which hopefully means they'll stop caving to bad faith outrage because they'll recognize that when they do that, they can incur actual real outrage by silencing journalists like me.
Okay, I can't continue this. Like the video, if I judge by the bar, she's going for at least 8 minutes. There's no fucking way now. I'm not doing that to anybody, but obviously it's exactly what we were expecting. It's not her fault. She's a victim. She couldn't even bring herself to fake being happy about her support. Did you see how she does not care?
Yeah.
Like could not care less. Like again, I think this is something that we should do more. Like add to
we'll wait and see.
Let's just
but as
cut the video. Look at her. Like Look at the way she is. Tell me she looks like she's hurting. Just look at her mannerism.
Narcissist, you can tell. She's
Oh,
so unlikable. Just wow.
you know, just somebody that is always bubblehead. That's always trying to be outraged. That's trying to have emotions.
Yes.
Like that woman could
Everything's
not
wrong
give
with the left.
2 shits.
I like how she framed it as if she's just really worried about the other journalists, as if she really.
Oh, bull fucking shit.
Yeah, come on, Rach, come on.
Yeah, you know what, Rachel? If you're a journalist and you're not scared of the other side, come on this platform. We'll give you a fair shot. It won't be easy. I guarantee you, I'm not going to pull punches. But if you are a journalist, you should be ready to actually answer some questions. So please join us. Join us. Prove to us that you are one of the good people out there. You're a journalist.
Reach out. I'll reach out.
Oh, I reached out to her this morning.
Oh, did you? Oh, yeah, that's right. You said that. Yeah.
When I saw that, now is it going to happen? I don't think so. But hey, let's take a few of the comments. So Prairie saying, "Oh, geez, Rachel." Yeah, it seems like I was the only one that didn't know who she was. Gary Barrett saying, "Rachel fired, laughing out loud." Prairie always the victim, obviously. Memorino, I saw the cry video this morning. What the fuck? That's the what the fuck face, right? Gary Barrett, Twitty twat. I like it. Gary Barrett, once again, all double speak. Okay, 1984. Hey, just so you know, see this? I put it there on purpose. This is my Orwell collection. This is George Orwell's collection, and there's a big brother eye on it. That's why it's right there.
That's cool.
So, So all double speak. She probably bought those subs. You know what? No, I don't even think she needs to. She's a white liberal. People love that shit, and she's a victim. That works for her.
Well, she's everything that's wrong with the left. Just the perpetually aggrieved, permanent victim. Always virtue signaling herself as this moral justice warrior. And just empty narcissist. You can just tell. I find her very unlikable.
Which is very often those white, very liberal white women. They always sound. Remove the sound, and you'll notice they always bobble their head. They're trying to fake emotions, and they don't know. You know, Rachel, if you're listening to this, one suggestion that I have for you is to look in the mirror. Talk to yourself in the mirror and see how unlikable you look. Practice smiling. Practice caring in the mirror to try to imitate what real emotions look like so that you can have direct feedback. That's what they suggest to people that are narcissists. Look in the mirror and try to fake emotions so that people actually believe you. Just a suggestion. Prairie is saying that just retarded. You can say it. Retarded. You can say it. You're not going to hurt our feelings. Melissa Lim is laughing. Yeah, poor victim. You shouldn't laugh at her. That's not funny. Prairie's laughing. Kashmir just reposted the stream. Hey, there you go. I didn't realize it would actually give us a notification. Well, good for you, and thank you for the first time. I hope we see you again. Prairie, now we can't hear the video. Oh yeah, that was a technical problem. Everybody's saying it wasn't working. So cringe. Oh, schizo. Yeah. Always offended.
And just always looking to be offended. I find that whole, it's so annoying. It's the thing. One of the things on the left that I find the most just really gets under my skin. Just constantly looking to be offended, wanting to be, they love it, right? They love when they can be offended. I really hope that within a week or so because right now she thinks, oh, I got so much support. Yeah, okay, well, let's see what happens when I try to get a job. Who would hire her? Who would hire her? Like, you don't know if
how long before she has an OnlyFans? How long?
6 months. But like, you can't. How can you can't trust her? Anything you say, you're like, okay, well, even if I have to fire her in some way, how do I know it's not going to be recorded and then twisted around and make my company look bad? Why would I even take that risk? Like, what does she bring to the table that justifies that risk? And if I'm in the media, I'm thinking, no, I'm like, why? There's a million other journalists you can get that don't have all that baggage. I think she really fucked her career there.
She's an idiot. She could have left it at that and cry wolf, saying, "Oh, I got canceled," and blah blah blah. Although I've been canceling people for years, I'm such a victim here. But now you recorded the only people that will give you a job.
Well, the fact of the matter is, she should have never been hired to be a fact checker. She's extremely biased, and fact checking is a bit ridiculous, anyways. But if you're gonna try to make it work, you have to get people that are at least known to be unbiased, or at least perceived as that.
Yeah, agreed. Plus, but she was on, that was for Global or CTV. So it's not like they're recognized as being real fact checkers. So she actually aligned very well with their policies, obviously. Now, there's one thing today, I don't throw you flowers very often, but when I do, I will recognize it. Yesterday, you passed a comment saying that Mark Carney, because this is going to be part of our daily Canadian election update. And there's a couple of things I wanted to bring up today, but the first one is a bit of good for you. You were right. Here's a video by a woman called Larissa Waller. I also reached out to her this morning to see if she'd come on to talk about this, but this is about your comment yesterday that you made that Carney did not have, because the parliament is closed, he does not have the power to remove the carbon tax, but he could just put it to zero. And we all know what's going to happen if he's elected. He would just slide it back into place. And it seems that you weren't full of shit for once, that you were right. So here's a video confirming what you're saying.
Yes.
Backhanded compliment, bro.
Carney said it is. Mark Carney is trying to tell people he canceled the carbon tax. He did not. He set the rate at zero. And that's great news for a temporary relief, but here's why it matters. He could have repealed the carbon tax. He could have recalled Parliament if he was serious. He could be saying it's the first thing I'm going to do. That's not what he's saying. He's saying the carbon tax is a divisive policy right now. And that matters because he did not repeal the legislation. So he set the rate at zero. That means he can increase the rate whenever he wants if he wins the election. And again, it wouldn't matter if he hadn't spent the last 10 years evangelizing about the importance of a price on carbon and the importance of, this is from his book, keeping 80% of Canadian energy and Canadian gas in the ground. And so today he's saying that let's not talk about this today. It's divisive, but I don't trust for a minute that he won't bring it back when he thinks it's politically expedient to. And you look at things like he kept Steve Guilbeault in his cabinet. This is also somebody who has staked his personal reputation on the carbon tax as a tool to fight climate change. So I don't believe what Mark Carney is selling to the Canadian public right now.
So Jono, they still.
And you know what's interesting about this video is that I looked her up afterwards. She's a lefty. She
really,
is not a conservative. Oh, well, yeah. So
Yeah.
she was on CBC. So they don't have a lot of righties on CBC, right?
Yeah. It's kind of shocking that like no one else has picked up on this.
You're just that smart, bro.
No, actually, I believe that's the video that I saw, because I saw it somewhere. But I was like, well, that's
you should give her credit. I guess.
Oh yeah. Well, I didn't know who it is. I
thought you were smart. I really thought you were smart, man. You should have. That was your chance to shut the hell up.
Yeah, exactly. I'm fake it till you make it. But no, like the way they're taught, the media is super triumphant, right? Axe the tax. No, you didn't. You slid it down. You put it to zero, but you can always bring it back. And I'm shocked. Where's Polyev on this? Like, what? Why isn't he talking about that? He really doesn't seem like he's getting great advice from he's not being well served by his advisors, or he's just doesn't give a shit.
I wonder if that's what's happening, or is he just not that bright?
It might just be that. Maybe we're like keep trying to give him the benefit of the doubt when maybe he's just not that bright. I think he's,
but at
like recite things in a way that makes him sound smart, but maybe if you actually, maybe that's why he doesn't go out and do a lot of interviews. Maybe if you put him on the spot, he can't actually think.
And personally, that's what I believe. Personally, I believe that he's not that bright, and he's not, maybe not that bright's not the best way to say it, but maybe he is not witty. Like, I'm very witty. Like, I can talk, I know my stuff so much. You can try to call me out in person live. I'll know what to answer because I talk about this shit all the time. I don't think he's that type of person. I don't think, or maybe he's not likable too. That's another thing because I've never met him. Maybe that's what it is, but I don't like the way he speaks. If you turn off the volume when he's speaking, he looks very narcissistic. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe he's just not likable in a long format either. Maybe, who knows? But instead of him doing more interviews, he should be doing more interviews to show us wrong, to show us that he actually is good on his, he can think on his feet, and that he's likable. Because right now, definitely doesn't sound out. It doesn't look.
Seems like it, yeah. It no, yeah. It's. I don't know what kind of advice he's getting, but he's got a golden opportunity here for today. So I mean, hopefully see how he handles it. But we're gonna hammer him here in a couple days if he fumbles this. We're gonna if no one else hammers him, we're gonna hammer him.
Agreed. So quick updates on. I figured I would actually, starting now, I will look at their X account and see where they are, what they're doing right now. Mark Carney is still complaining, and as you will see, this is from 7 p.m. yesterday, so that was after the Trump announcement, and he's still complaining about the non-existing tariff wars. During this crisis, we must act with purpose and force. My government will fight U.S. tariffs, protect Canadians, workers and industries, and build the strongest economy in the G7. That's basically his video that he was saying that I showed earlier, but clearly he's still fighting the fight that does not exist. Also, he posted this morning, and this is just prior to us starting to record, in my conversation with Chancellor Sokol from this morning, we agreed to strengthen the diverse trade relationship between Canada and Germany. As we face the crisis caused by President Trump's tariffs, reliable trade partners are more important than ever. So he's doubling down on something that does not exist, and that was literally at 11 o'clock this morning. So I don't know what the fuck he's smoking, but I want some. Fuck.
That's crazy. It's like he doesn't know how to, the script has been set and he doesn't know how to deviate from it.
That's all he has. But that's what we were saying at the beginning. That's all he has. Now he's gonna have to campaign for real, and it won't just be able to just, it's the tariff, it's the big orange man, it's his fault. Can't do that anymore. So the next of the campaign is gonna be very fucking interesting for him.
Yeah. Will be.
Hold on. Right here, Gary Barrett is saying that teleprompters make us all look smart.
I think Polyev is good in that way. I like he's good at reading the prompter to sound like he's smart, but I don't maybe he's just not.
And Prairie is saying unreal. Now, here's the update from the Pierre Polyev side. Yesterday, and I saw videos of this, I'm pretty sure it was Chris Dacey that was there yesterday. He said that there was literally like 4,200 patriotic Canadian rallied in Kingston.
Wow,
so that's 4,200. Yeah. Like you look at the pictures.
We don't have those giant rallies they do down the States. 4,200.
We don't have the arenas either.
Yeah.
As somebody that's traveled all over the U.S., you can go to the U.S. right now. High school football with 50,000 seats.
Oh, that's wild, eh? That is wild.
Our Bell Center, which is one of the biggest ones,
probably
is smaller than some of the high school.
Football. That's wild.
Insane.
Football in the South, that's a religion.
Oh, yeah, 100%. But see, we're seeing that he actually has some people at his rallies, which good for him, I guess.
Yeah.
But there's another thing I wanted to share because that was Pierre Polyev yesterday was in Kingston. Today he's in Oshawa, and I found that pretty funny. Join us in Oshawa tonight to axe the taxes, build a home, unleash our resources, and put Canada first for a change. He's still using the axe the tax. Like, what taxes are we talking about? Are you going to go after the GST? Are you going to go after income tax? What taxes are we talking about? Because right now, your axe the tax has been stolen by Carney, and you got nothing to run on. But let's see what happens. This is tonight at 6. So this is your quick update from the Canadian election. And yeah, anything you want to add to this?
No. I mean, that's I think you covered it pretty much there. I mean, obviously the big ticket items was the tariffs and this Tamara Lich case, but it'd be really interesting to see sort of how both of them approach that. I feel like Carney's probably just won't even talk about it. I bet you he'll ignore it, and Polyev, if he's smart, he'll come out hard against it. But yeah, I guess now we're going to see what Polyev's made out of. He's got a second life here, and the race just got a bit interesting. It didn't look that interesting as recently as yesterday.
I agree, and I was talking about this with my wife this morning. As much as a guy like Carney scares the shit out of me because he's a smart Trudeau.
Yep.
A guy like I don't have a lot of faith in Polyev no matter what, but I think that at least under him, it would be slowed. Because in my opinion, in the long run, he's going to be as bad for the economy as a guy like Carney. It will just take longer to get there, but I don't think he's not gonna move the needle much in Canada, but at least it would be not as bad.
What's Cheryl saying there?
Cheryl is saying that Pierre has been talking directly with Canadians after rallies. I have seen the videos. I agree. I've seen those too. So he seems to be talking to people, but there's a difference between talking to the people that like you and be able to show up to a platform with people that are not going to softball you. There's a massive difference between the two, right?
Yep, absolutely.
And Cheryl is also saying that Pierre is also talking about a 15% income tax decrease for those earning under 150,000. And I'm pretty sure that earlier, because you have that trending portion on X. I'm pretty sure that I saw something along the line somewhere that Pierre Polyev. Oh, there you go. Polyev proposes GST removal on Canadian vehicles. Okay, well, blah blah. But that's a start, I guess. See, this is how, to me, that you're gonna promote your own country. Instead of saying I'm gonna put tariffs on other imports on whatever's coming into the country, how about I remove a sales tax on vehicle that I could potentially be 7%, 8%. They're made in Canada. So to me, don't put tariffs on other people, but reward people for buying locally. It's a good idea.
Yeah, I like that. I'm just looking here. This is just from today. It says on the Conservative Party website, Polyev to cut income tax by 15% for those making less than 150,000 a year. So I mean, that's a good start. You like to see that. I think we are, obviously, everyone knows we're heavily overtaxed, and it seems like he's trying to put some daylight between him and Carney, and we'll see if it's enough. It'd be really interesting to see see how the polls shape up in a couple days from now. Agreed.
Cheryl is saying, and allowing seniors to earn 10,000 more before being taxed.
Yeah.
I don't think seniors after a certain age should be taxed, but at the same time, those are the people voting liberal.
Yeah, so maybe that's why he's doing that.
Maybe they should get taxed more so that they start understanding what the liberals are doing to guys like me. Because, when I was still working for the man, I was getting taxed 50%. A bit more than 50% of my salary was gone. Yeah, it's fucking bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. Wild. So Cheryl is also saying that, Nico, I've seen videos with people who are not supporters asking Pierre why to trust him. And what was the response? Like, was he able to actually answer those questions?
Yeah.
Why would we trust him? Because I'd like to see those videos. I'd definitely like to see what he answered. Well, there's one more thing I wanted to talk about, and I wasn't able to do it yesterday. We went 3 hours, I think, man, yesterday.
Jesus.
Yeah, we continued, Jason and I, but I wanted to show something because it kind of bothers me because I like the guy. I found a video, kind of give it a bit showing the life of Val Kilmer, because Val Kilmer died a couple of years ago at the age of 65. We didn't get a chance to talk about it yesterday, but I had a video that I wanted to show. So if you guys don't mind, I'm going to show the video and then we'll be pretty much done for the day.
Yep.
So here's Val Kilmer, just a bit of credit to his life and the type of human being that he was. So here we go for a little Val Kilmer.
Good morning. Hollywood is remembering Val Kilmer, best known for his roles in Batman Forever and The Doors. Born and raised in Los Angeles, Kilmer broke onto the Hollywood scene in the 80s, starring in comedies like Real Genius and Top Secret.
Oh, I'm sorry. I really don't know any German.
The fucking hair.
He's sitting over there.
In 1986, he played Tom Cruise's rival Iceman in Top Gun.
You can be my wingman anytime.
But it was in 1991 that Kilmer got his breakout role, playing rock star Jim Morrison in The Doors, solidifying his status as a leading man. A few years later, he would
That's
star
the one you
opposite
like,
Kurt Russell in Tombstone.
I love that.
I'm your Huckleberry.
And in
I'm your
1995,
Huckleberry.
he would
I'm
join
your
Al
Huckleberry.
Pacino and Robert De Niro
That's a good
in
video.
Michael Mann's Heat.
That's a great scene.
That
here.
same year, Kilmer would get his blockbuster moment,
I didn't like him as
donning
Batman.
the black cowl in Batman
No,
Forever.
Michael Keaton
Yeah.
was a great Batman.
Yeah.
Despite
And
the
Christian
film's
Bale were
box
my top
office
two.
success,
Christian
it
Bale,
would
my
be
favorite.
Kilmer's
Yeah.
only outing as the Caped Crusader. And despite some critically acclaimed
That video
roles,
was terrible.
including
That movie
Perry
was
in
terrible.
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Yeah, that's probably why I don't like. I just don't like that Batman movie. And I guess
No, the definition of the word
might not
idiot,
be
which
his
you
fault.
are.
Kilmer would struggle to find the same level of success in the second half of his career. He was diagnosed with throat cancer in 2014.
brutal,
He recovered,
Yeah.
but a procedure left him short of breath and reduced his voice to a rasp.
What do you miss most about your old voice, Val?
I had one, and I didn't laugh like a pirate.
Kilmer continued to act with his voice dubbed over by other actors. His final film appearance would be in the most successful movie of his career, returning to the role of Iceman in Top Gun Maverick.
The Navy needs Maverick.
Josh Brolin remembering Kilmer as a smart, challenging, brave, uber-creative firecracker. Val Kilmer was 65. Our thoughts are with his family
Not really
and
that
friends.
old.
No, not at all. And yesterday I talked about this. If you want to watch a movie with Val Kilmer that is so underrated, that it's a B-level movie. It's not as
What was it
great
called?
as Felon. I'm just gonna show it right now.
Maybe I'll check that- Yeah,
It's on. It's pretty much available everywhere.
Okay.
There we go. That's the video right there. It's interesting. I just like the
Okay, yeah.
role that Val
Check it
Kilmer
out.
plays. He's fatter. He
Yeah,
has a
I'm looking
massive
at that.
goatee. He kind of looks like a badass in that movie. So
Yeah.
you can find it anywhere. It's the story scares the shit out of me because the guy ends up going to prison for defending his family, and he meets Val Kilmer. That's an absolute psychopath in that movie.
Oh, is he
He's-
really?
Okay, I'll ruin it, but it's not a good ruin because you learn that pretty quick. But
Okay.
basically, he was just an average guy that came back home, and somebody had raped his wife and daughter, killing them both.
Wow.
And he wiped them out. So he went, not only did he go after the people that killed his family, he wiped their family out of existence. So he killed like 30 people. Like he went on a rampage and he did to them what they did to him. Like he
Yeah.
wiped them out of their whole family's like, fuck you. I don't have one. You don't have one either. The dude is just a fucking crazy bastard.
That's crazy.
But it's a cool movie. I like it. I like that movie. There's a lot of fighting.
Yeah,
It's all
I'll probably check that out. Look for something to watch with the girlfriend tonight. I'll suggest that.
Oh yeah, nothing like a romantic movie about rape and
Yeah.
murdering children.
She'll be down. She'll be down.
Cool.
And she's
You're
such a
welcome.
wimp. Yeah, she's such a wimp with those like any movies. Like it's like it's not even a jump scare. Someone will walk in the door and she's like, ah, like she's what she is.
Yeah.
It's not even a jump scare. What are you doing? But she probably wouldn't make it through it. But that's why it'll be funny.
Yeah.
This was
And see, Kashmir is agreeing. Felon was awesome. It was just, it's a B-level movie. You can tell there's not a lot of money.
I've never
in
even
it,
heard.
but
I've never even heard of it.
again, it's I'm
All right,
just
well,
a movie buff.
We
I'm
got
a movie
people
buff,
checking
bro.
it out. Maybe I'll
Yep.
watch it tonight too. We'll see how we'll do a
We'll talk about it
deconstruct it tomorrow. Yeah. Guys, again, thank you so much for your engagement here. You know, me and Nico, we keep saying it every day because it's true.
We mean it.
We wouldn't do this show. We wouldn't be able to do it without you guys. And so you could have been anywhere in the world today here, but you chose to be here with us, and we really do appreciate that. And we're trying to build a community here, and you guys are part of that community, and it would not be nearly what it is without you guys. Kashmir, welcome. Hopefully you stick around. We're just building this community one person at a time. Every day or two we get a new voice, and then hopefully they stick around. Today it was a great show, man. That flew by. Lots of good topics. I think that's it for me. Nico, you got anything you want to add to that before we shut her down for the day?
Kashmir, thanks for being here. And it's like the letters back in the days. One letter equals 1,000 viewers. So thank you.
Yeah, exactly, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the math.
So
That's the math we're going with.
Yeah, that's it. That's the math I'm using. So hopefully we see you again. Prairie, we'll see you soon. And Memorino, you're welcome. Gary Barrett too. Cheers.
Gary,
to you
thanks for the breaking news. You're the big hero of the day.
Yep.
Big one.
Yep. Yes, sir.
All right, guys.
We'll see you guys tomorrow.